This is not a surprise to anybody. It's really sad that it's got to this point, but I've got to do something for my own mental health, for my wife's, and for Archie's as well, because I could see where this was headed.
We aren't even halfway into 2025 yet, and the royal family drama seems far from over. The latest twist? King Charles appears to be cutting Prince Harry off from the royal family once and for all. But the details of this shocking development are only just coming to light. Inside sources suggest that the king may have finally had enough of Harry and Meghan. So, what's behind this sudden cutoff? And what exactly has Prince Harry done to push things this far? Join us as we dive into all the details. The DNA battle. One might think that after all the royal drama that happened last year between Queen Camilla and Princess Anne's tensions, and King Charles and Princess Catherine's battles with cancer, this year would be a time for peace. Surely the king would want to keep his family close after everything they've been through. But sadly, that hasn't been the case. The recent drama going on behind the palace doors has to do with none other than Prince Harry and King Charles. It came as a shock to everyone when whispers of the king cutting his second son off came to light. And now, Meghan reportedly has no idea what she is going to do. Sources close to the family say she was completely blindsided, breaking down in tears as the news hit her. Royal watchers cannot help but wonder what led to this drastic decision. Stay with us as we get into all the royal drama. Remember when the whole world claimed that Prince Harry wasn't King Charles's son and instead a product of Princess Diana's love affair? Well, if you aren't well versed in the story, let's get you up to speed. This claim lays the basis for Prince Harry's being cut off. Back in 1987, just 3 years after Prince Harry was born, some people speculated that Princess Diana's writing instructor, James Hewitt, was Prince Harry's biological father, not King Charles. And this speculation started because Prince Harry and James Hewitt shared certain similarities. Both had the same ginger hair, and they also had freckles. This speculation turned the nation upside down, and people wasted no time in comparing Prince Harry's features to his father, King Charles. In a way, people were convinced Hewitt was Harry's father because the two looked way more alike compared to King Charles. When Prince Harry was compared side by side, structure by structure, to King Charles, there wasn't a lot of resemblance either in looks or in mannerisms. And all of this, of course, added fire to the gossip, which was ever-growing at the time. Now, all of this must have not been easy for Prince Harry, who was but a mere teenager at the time. But if you think that Prince Harry was only having a tough time with the press tabloids, then you're very wrong. Within the four corners of the palace walls, where Prince Harry was supposed to feel safe and somewhat free from all the tabloids circulating about him and questioning his legitimacy, the rumors seemed to only intensify. Rather than feeling safe, he instead felt cornered, feeling taunted by the very person he grew up calling father. King Charles himself had mocked the speculation swirling around at the time. Harry recalled how his father would jokingly say, "Who knows if I'm the Prince of Wales? Who knows if I'm even your real father? Maybe your real father is in Broadmoor, darling boy." According to Harry, King Charles would laugh and laugh about the whole situation. But to Prince Harry, the joke was anything but funny, because these claims questioned his entire upbringing and even his legitimacy as the prince. Harry later described the rumor as one of the most hurtful narratives pushed by the tabloids, saying that people seemed to take pleasure in the idea that he wasn't a prince, that he didn't belong. And worse, the media refused to let go of the story, despite the fact that the timeline of the alleged affair made no sense. Princess Diana hadn't even met Major Hewitt in 1984. So how could he be his father? But all of this didn't matter to the tabloids. The lie was too profitable, too sensational to simply go poof. Over the years, the rumors surrounding Prince Harry's paternity have been spun into endless tabloid headlines. Eventually, he was forced to take legal action against a newspaper company named Mirror Group for alleged phone hacking, including an article titled "Plot to Rob the DNA of Harry," published in The People on December 15, 2002. This article had revived malicious claims that Major James Hewitt, not King Charles, was Harry's biological father. In his witness statement, Harry revealed that the article detailed a supposed plot to steal a sample of his DNA to test his parentage. He explained that numerous newspapers had fueled the rumor, despite the fact that his mother had not even met Hewitt until after he was born. Shockingly, Harry admitted that he only learned this timeline in 2014, years after the tabloids had already spread the damaging narrative. He believed the journalists involved had always known the truth but had chosen to ignore it for the sake of a scandalous story. At just 18 years old, still grieving the loss of his mother, Harry found these stories deeply hurtful. He recalled how they made him question whether the press was deliberately trying to plant doubt in the public's mind, to the point where he might be ousted from the royal family altogether. He confessed that it wasn't until he turned 30, 2 years before meeting Meghan Markle and a year after Prince George's birth, that the rumor was finally put to rest. Even Major Hewitt had publicly dismissed the rumor. In a 2017 interview, he admitted that the speculation persisted simply because it sold papers. He even expressed sympathy for Harry, saying that it must have been far worse for him to live under the weight of such a cruel claim. For Harry, this was never just gossip. It was a direct attack on his identity. The endless speculation took a deep emotional toll, and he feared that journalists, desperate for a dramatic headline, might one day use the story to sever his ties to the royal family completely. That fear may have played a role in his eventual decision to step back from royal duties alongside Meghan Markle, but we'll get to that later. For Harry, none of it was ever just a joke. Instead, it was a calculated lie, weaponized against him time and time again. But to truly understand the weight of these rumors and why they refused to die, we need to go back to where it all began, the man at the center of the speculation. Who is James Hewitt? James Hewitt was a career military man who graduated from the Royal Military Academy and was commissioned into the British Army in 1978. Hewitt was living a fairly normal life, but little did he know that life had other plans, and he would soon be introduced to one of the most famous women in the world. When Hewitt met Diana at a courtier's cocktail party in the fall of 1986, he was a staff captain in the Life Guards, a regiment of the Household Cavalry. Hewitt was described by Tina Brown as a younger, cuter, less complicated, and far less burdened version of Prince Charles. She described him as someone who was cordial, mannerly, and handsome in the tall, chiseled storybook way that Diana always admired. The whole affair began to truly take form when Diana asked Hewitt to give her riding lessons. In Hewitt's book Love and War, which was published in 1999, Hewitt said they both fell in love, but only one thing went wrong. According to the Diana Chronicles, Diana took charge of the relationship, making the first move by reaching to kiss him when they were alone in the officers' mess, telling him, "I need you. You give me strength. I can't stand it when I'm not with you." Let's not forget all of this affair went on because Diana wasn't getting affection from her husband, King Charles. From beginning to end, it was Diana who ran the affair. In the Netflix series The Crown, we saw that Hewitt was often snuck into Kensington Palace secretly to see Princess Diana. This was included in the series because it indeed happened. Hewitt was regularly bundled into car boots and driven to Kensington Palace when their affair started. Anna Pasternak, who collaborated with Hewitt on a book, said that Hewitt was terrified the first night at Kensington Palace because he was afraid that he would be discovered. Ultimately, he was relieved when he found out that King Charles and Princess Diana had separate bedrooms. According to Brown, Hewitt became a regular guest at Kensington Palace and Highgrove, Charles and Diana's private residence, whenever Charles was away. But it even gets interesting. Hewitt became such a familiar private guest at the private residence that William and Harry even developed a deep fondness for the man. Now this makes you wonder, did the kids ever slip up and tell their father about the guest that only comes when he's not around? But the palace and the residence weren't their only meeting places. The two also spent time in a cottage that belonged to Hewitt's mother. On Australia's Sunday Night, Hewitt described the low-key nature of their relationship as one where he would cook and Princess Diana would wash up. In 1989, the relationship simmered down when Hewitt was posted to Germany for 2 years. Diana, according to Brown, tried to pull strings so that he would not be sent abroad. She said, "You promised you'd always be here for me, and now you've broken that promise." The affair rekindled again in 1990 before he was deployed to the Gulf War. Diana was put off by how serious Hewitt was becoming in letters. He was talking openly about spending the rest of their lives together. Diana pulled back while Hewitt was in Kuwait, but he still had her 64 handwritten letters. In 1994, Hewitt gave a series of paid interviews to 26-year-old Anna Pasternak, a features writer for the Daily Express. After Charles confessed in a TV documentary that his marriage had irretrievably broken down in 1994, Hewitt gave Pasternak the go-ahead to share his testimony. Pasternak completed the controversial bestseller Princess in Love in a matter of 5 weeks, using Hewitt's previously off-the-record interviews and cache of letters from Diana, which Hewitt later tried to sell for millions, to inform the book. Recalling one of Diana's letters in the Daily Mail, Pasternak revealed that Diana had written about lying awake at night, loving Hewitt desperately, and feeling grateful that he had come into her life. She had described him as the most magical and special person she had ever met, and expressed how extraordinarily lucky she felt to have been loved by him. Though Hewitt's book sold 500,000 copies and was a financial success, it was met with heavy criticism from both the media and Diana herself. In a 1995 interview with the BBC, Diana openly acknowledged her affair with Hewitt, but expressed deep disappointment over how it played out in the public eye. She admitted that she had adored him and had been in love with him, but felt incredibly let down by the way things unfolded. In 1999, Hewitt released another book, Love and War, further detailing their relationship. However, the most persistent rumors surrounding him had little to do with their love affair itself. It was the speculation that Hewitt, not Charles, was actually Prince Harry's father. This theory gained so much traction that even a 2014 play about Diana entertained the idea. Despite this, Hewitt consistently denied the rumors, pointing out that the timeline simply did not support them. He emphasized in an interview with Australia's Sunday Night that he had met Diana in 1986 when Harry was already 2 years old.
Are you Harry's father?
No, I'm not.
Why does that keep being repeated?
Sells papers.
That's heartbreaking.
And suggested that the speculation persisted simply because it sold papers. Diana was reportedly aware of the rumors and found them deeply upsetting. Ken Worf, her former personal protection officer and confidant, wrote in Diana closely guarded secrets that she had once confided in him about the claims and had been in tears over the entire ordeal. He explained that a simple comparison of dates was enough to prove the rumors were impossible. Years later, in 2017, Hewitt reflected on his time with Diana during another interview on Sunday Night. He described their relationship as something that had gradually intensified until they could no longer get enough of each other and constantly wanted to be together.
There wasn't really any hope. And it was torn between duty and love, really. I mean, it sounds a bit corny, but it's true.
But as passionate as their affair had been, it eventually faded into the past, except, of course, in the eyes of the media. The rumors surrounding Hewitt and Prince Harry never truly died, and over the years, they became a source of relentless speculation, fueling cruel headlines and public doubt about Harry's place in the royal family. For Harry, these whispers weren't just gossip, they were an attack on his identity. The constant questioning of his paternity, despite undeniable timelines, made him feel like an outsider in his own family. And when combined with the way he and Meghan were treated, it became clear to him that he might never truly belong. This lingering sense of alienation may have played a significant role in his eventual decision to walk away from royal life altogether, stepping away from royal duties. The saying usually goes that you can't know what happens behind closed doors. But thanks to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's new docuseries, Harry and Meghan, the world now has a pretty good idea. The door in question. One at Sandringham, where on January 13, 2022, Prince Harry, Prince William, King Charles, and then reigning monarch Queen Elizabeth II discussed the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's future in the royal family. This followed days after the couple had released an explosive Instagram statement saying they were to step back from their duties. After that private meeting concluded, it turned out that back really meant down, as Buckingham Palace released a statement declaring that Harry and Meghan were no longer working members of the royal family. Now, when news of this came out, the nation was sent into a spiral, as many couldn't help but try to get some answers as to this decision. In the Liz Garbus-directed Netflix series, the couple revealed the chaotic, volatile moments behind the scenes that led to the decision to step back. In the process, they not only give greater clarity to their own experience, but also pull the curtain back on one of the most private families in history. Harry and Meghan cast the Windsors as a deeply divided group driven by individual agendas. And we can't say this is really unexpected, as there are bound to always be family dramas. Logically, alongside hidden agendas, offices leaked stories about other members of the family to ensure their principal royal had the more favorable press coverage. That toxic dynamic, according to Harry, catalyzed their departure. The Sussexes were crumbling under incessant negative media coverage that included an intimate letter between Meghan and her estranged father published in the Daily Mail. When the intimate letter was made public, the Duchess even began to have suicidal thoughts. And in all this, Harry claimed his family did little to protect them. Instead of standing up for them despite knowing how bad everything was, they thought, why couldn't Meghan just deal with whatever she was going through? But this wasn't all. Harry revealed that this wasn't even the worst treatment they got from his family. Some family members who claimed that they felt threatened by the Sussexes' explosive popularity gave tabloids damning information about Prince Harry and his wife. Information wasn't only leaked, there was also the planting of negative stories. But even worse, Harry believed that his brother William's team was behind some of the planting of fake stories. And so Prince Harry, finally having had enough, developed a plan with his wife to move abroad. They considered New Zealand at first, before settling in South Africa. That is, until someone leaked the plan to the Times of London. Harry believed it was a family member, although he does not name who. The couple tried again with Canada. In December 2019, Harry called his father up from a rented house on Vancouver Island, where they were spending Christmas, to talk about it. But 5 days later, news of the new plan was plastered on the front page of a newspaper. And so, Prince Harry, having had enough of the scrutiny and relentless pressure, developed a plan with his wife to move abroad. Harry later realized that the key detail that exposed the source of the leak was the mention of their willingness to relinquish their Sussex titles. That specific piece of information, which had only been shared in his private letter to his father, made it clear to him that their own story had been taken from them and used without their consent. Feeling betrayed and out of options, he and Meghan decided to take control of the narrative by releasing their now famous statement on Instagram. Following this, Harry reached out to his grandmother and requested a meeting upon his return to the UK. Initially, Queen Elizabeth agreed, but her office later cancelled the arrangement. Instead, a formal summit was scheduled at Sandringham to discuss the couple's future, without Meghan's presence. Meghan later reflected on how unsettling it had been to have such an important discussion take place, while she, as a mother, a wife, and the person at the center of so much controversy, was excluded from the table. The meeting itself was tense. Harry had hoped to negotiate a part-time role within the royal family, but his relatives were unwilling to consider a compromise. William, in particular, had reacted with anger, shouting at him, while their father made claims that Harry insisted were not true. Meanwhile, the Queen had simply sat and listened, absorbing it all in silence. In the end, the decision was made. The couple would no longer undertake official engagements or represent the monarchy. To make matters worse, shortly after the meeting, The Times published a story suggesting that Harry and Meghan felt bullied by William. Kensington Palace swiftly issued a statement denying the allegations, attributing it to both brothers. However, Harry had never approved of such a statement, and when he informed Meghan of what had happened, she broke down in tears. He later reflected on how quickly the palace had acted to protect his brother, while for years they had refused to do the same for him and Meghan. After Queen Elizabeth's death, the royal family put aside their differences for a brief moment, appearing together at Windsor Castle in what was their first public reunion since Harry and Meghan's departure. Whether such a moment would ever happen again remained uncertain, as the fractures within the family remained deep. How do the Sussexes survive? As working royals, Prince Harry and Meghan relied heavily on financial support from Harry's father, who covered 95% of their annual income. The remaining 5% came from the taxpayer-funded sovereign grant. However, when they stepped away from royal duties, they faced an entirely new financial reality. To ease the transition, King Charles provided them with what was described as a substantial sum to help them establish their new life outside the monarchy. Determined to carve out their own path, the couple founded the Archewell Charitable Foundation and pursued a range of business ventures. They struck high-profile commercial deals, securing lucrative partnerships that allowed them to maintain both their philanthropic work and financial independence. In February 2024, they launched Sussex.com, a website that positioned them as forces shaping the future through business and philanthropy. The announcement was soon followed by Meghan's newest endeavor, American Riviera Orchard, which was unveiled in March 2024. While details about the brand remained scarce, glimpses of branded jam jars circulating on social media suggested that it might focus on food and lifestyle products. Meanwhile, their media company, Archewell Productions, continued its work with Netflix under a multi-million-dollar deal. By April 2024, 2 new series were in production, one celebrating the art of cooking, gardening, entertaining, and friendship, and another offering a deep dive into the world of professional polo. The Polo series eventually aired in December, marking another milestone in their media career. Their partnership with Netflix wasn't their first foray into television. Previously, they had appeared in Harry and Meghan, a documentary series offering a personal look at their lives within the royal family, and The Heart of Invictus, which explored Harry's struggles after his military service in Afghanistan. Beyond television, the couple had also made their mark in podcasting. Under a reported $25 million deal with Spotify, Archewell produced Archetypes, a series in which Meghan engaged in candid conversations with influential women. However, that partnership ended in June 2023. Not long after, in February 2024, Meghan announced a new podcast deal with Lemonade Media. Then, in early 2025, an Instagram post from the company hinted that Archetypes might be making a comeback. Harry also made waves in the publishing world. In January 2023, he released his memoir, Spare, an explosive account of his relationship with his brother and father, as well as his deep grief over the loss of his mother, Princess Diana. The book's publication was accompanied by a charitable pledge with $1.5 million and £300,000 promised to Centabale and Well-Child charities. Meghan, too, had dabbled in writing, releasing a children's book, The Bench, in 2021. Despite their new ventures, the couple's financial foundation had been laid years earlier. William and Harry inherited the bulk of Princess Diana's £13 million fortune, which, according to Harry, funded their move to the US. He was also believed to have received a significant inheritance from his great-grandmother, the Queen Mother. However, whether Queen Elizabeth left him anything in her will remained unknown. For Meghan, Financial independence had long been part of her story. Before her royal life, she built a successful acting career, best known for her role in the legal drama Suits, where she reportedly earned $50,000 per episode. Having appeared in more than 100 episodes, her earnings from the show alone had been substantial. Now, as they continue to redefine their public and professional lives, the Sussexes remain a powerful, if polarizing, force, balancing business, philanthropy, and personal storytelling in a way that keeps the world watching. What do you think about Prince Harry and his wife Meghan Markle taking a step back from all the royal drama? Do you think they made an excellent choice, or do you think otherwise? Let us know in the comments. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the following video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.